بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We're continuing with our studies of the book التعبير القرآني by Dr. Fadl Saleh Samir Ra'i. And we're still on chapter 1, guys. Alhamdulillah. It's a good pace, so don't stress about it. But so basically we had gone almost, we're finishing the chapter. We are in the conclusive remarks. That's where Dr. Fadel is right now, because he gave us the general idea of how the Quran is so beautiful and so intentional, deliberate in the way it uses words, in the way it places words, in the way the context is, it's appropriate for whatever style of expression that you use. And now he started concluding. Yesterday we looked at the idea. What's happening with my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Alhamdulillah, yeah, we can see it.
Okay, but for some reason I cannot do anything, so maybe I cannot scroll up. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, it was misbehaving a little bit. All right. So so he was concluding, and he was just saying that, we talked about how everything has been placed in a beautiful artistic uh, unit, or everything is just interrelated and correlated and coordinated and harmonized so perfectly. That's what he was saying. And anyone who has any knowledge about the order of the Quran cannot help themselves but to fall in prostration. That's what he said. And he said that also this Ta'bir al-Qur'ani, the studies have been studied extensively and has been given so much attention that no other text has been given this kind of attention. All right. And he was talking about how the different aspects from which the Quran has been studied. So فَقَدْ دُرِسَ مِنْ حَيْثُ تَصْوِيرِهِ الْفَنِّي. It has been studied with respect to its artistic depiction, you could say, or its artistic imagery. فكان أجمل تصوير, and it was the best imagery. وأبرع لوحة فنية, and the most excellent artistic picture. And so we're going to pick up from there, because that's where we stopped. So anyone who wants to read, please let me know. Then we can begin
May
the
I
next
read?
portion. Yes, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ودرس من حيث نظمه وموسيقاه. موسيقاه, is it?
موسيقاه, yes.
موسيقاه فكان أروع عقد منظوم وأعذب قطعة فنية موسيقية. وهل يشك أحد في فخامة نظمه وحلاوة موسيقاه? Again.
قطعة فنية موسيقية. Could you read the last sentence? Sorry, I was a bit behind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it عقد?
Yes, عقد.
Okay. وهل يشك أحد في فخامة نظمه
Mm-hmm.
وحلاوة موسيقاه
Mm-hmm.
وعذوبة جرسه
Mm-hmm.
وحسن اختيار ألفاظه وجمال وقع آياته. إذ عزو I don't know.
عذوبة.
عزوبة. Okay.
I
Is it
think so.
مصدر?
Yes.
Is it مصدر? Okay,
Yes.
I'm
All of
nervous.
them are masters.
Okay. Is it معطوف طيب?
عذوبة. Sorry. عذوبة. You're right. It's
Okay, yes, I saw in arrow tools. So it's
yeah.
عزوبة. Sorry, I'm nervous. My voice is.
No, it's fine. You did wonderfully. That was a very beautiful implementation of all that rules, mashallah. That was very good.
Should I translate
Okay.
it?
You want to translate? Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead if you want to translate.
No. Okay. Help me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a bit of there's a lot of words here. So
yeah,
let's
and
try and
yeah,
see.
heavy word. It's like
Yes,
heavy
heavy
word.
word. Yes. It's true. Even it's heavy for me too, so don't worry. Okay.
Like it was studied with respect to its systematic and musical. What does it mean?
Musical, you can say musical incantation or musicality, or it's like the way it sounds. Yeah. So musicality, you can say.
So I don't understand why is it musica who musici is not it's
Musiqa is music. Musiqa. And then who? It's music.
so it isn't not in ger state like nazmi or
No, this is
musiqi.
this is this is موسيقى. This is منقوص. اسم منقوص. It always ends
Okay,
with an
okay,
alif.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's systematic and it's music, right?
Yeah, melody is good. Yeah, we can use melody.
Okay. Okay. Now, sister, you can help me again. I don't know.
Okay, no problem. That's a good attempt. Right, let's see. Uh, ودرس من حيث ندمه وموسيقاه فكان أروع عقد مندوم وأعذب قطعة فنية موسيقية. وهل يشك أحد في فخامة نظمه وحلاوة موسيقاه وعذوبة جرسه وحسن اختيار ألفاظه وجمال وقع آياته. So now let's figure out what he's trying to say. Okay? So he's saying, and remember the first statement was that it has been done extensive studies. That's where we began. درس التعبير القرآني دراسات مستفيضة. Extensive studies have been done as far as تعبير القرآن is concerned. And then he goes on to say, for example, قد درس من حيث تصوير الفني في تصويره الفني. It has been studied according to its artistic imagery. That's one. ودرس, again, this درس goes back to this درس, so it's kind of like a connection. And it has also been studied with respect to نظمه, its order, its organization, how it is organized. And we do this, especially with Ustad. I think you've seen how he does the, I don't know, the thematic overview or things like that. So its order has been studied as well. وموسيقاه, and how it flows in how the musical uh, incantation and how it rhymes. When you read the Quran, actually, you yourself, you notice this. Like, if you read a surah like, right now I'm doing Surah Al-Qamar, every ayah ends with r, Qamar, every single ayah. Like, it's so musical and it's so beautiful and it's so poetic and it's so rhythmical and it has a beautiful melody. So it has been studied according to that. And what did they find? فَكَانَ أَرْوَعَ عَقْدٍ. And it was the most beautiful. Aqd has so many meanings. So, and I think that's probably where a lot of us may have been confused. So aqd, one of the common meanings is that it means contract. That's the most common meaning. It also has the meaning of like aqd 10 years. Like a 10-year period is called a decade. A decade is also called aqd. And the other meaning of where you get the verb aqada, يعقد, is to tie together, to knit, to fasten, to join, to link. Yeah. So, okay, no problem, Sreha. It's quite fine. You will find us going. So that's the other meaning of aqd. So aqd would be like a stitch, a stitchery, or a like a knitting, fastening, tying something together, like the master of it, like a fabric, not a fabric as such, but
Tapestry?
tapestry. Yes, that's a good word. Yeah, tapestry, like something that is knit together and put together. Yeah, so that would be aqd. Another, like I mentioned, one meaning. There are three meanings. So again, he has talked about this idea of the Quran being interwoven and being like a beautiful fabric. So he's mentioning the same thing here. When they try to study in terms of its order and organization, they found it to be the most يعني أروع عقد, a beautiful uh, magnificent, orderly, you can say tapestry, and a most pleasant musical piece of art. I don't know, like something like that. وأعذب, and the most pleasant. عذب, basically attractive, sweet, something pleasant. وأعذب قطعة فنية موسيقية, a beautiful musical piece of art. وهل يشك أحد في فخامة نظمه? And is there anyone who dares, or like anyone who doubts its eminent order? Yeah. Is there anyone who doubts its eminent? Like فخامة is magnificence, eminence. Yeah. فخامة. نظمه وحلاوة موسيقاه, and the sweetness of its music, melody, or you can say, or musicality, right? And its pleasant sounds. وعذوبة جرسه. Again, عذوبة, the same word. أعذب, عذوبة. عذوبة is a مصدر. أعذب is اسم تفضيل. So وعذوبة جرسه, and the pleasant جرس is a bell. Jars is a bell. So he's actually saying, and the pleasantry of its ringing. In other words, the way it sounds. Because remember, he's talking about how it was studied in terms of its melodious rhythms and its incantation and musicality and its order. That's what he's talking about. So he's using all these elaborate words just to exaggerate and make you understand, like, like how, I don't know, poets, most of the time they speak like this. Yeah, so they use words which are not really common words, like bell ringing, and the sweetness, the pleasantly, the pleasantness, the pleasantry of its ringing. وحسن اختيار ألفاظه, and the best choice of its words. Again, this one came before, how the Quran chooses its words perfectly. وحسن اختيار ألفاظه, and the best choice of its words. وجمال وقع آياته, and the beautiful placement of its ayat. So he's saying that whoever studied this Quran and how the Quran expresses itself in terms of its order, in terms of its organization, and in terms of its melody, and in terms of its musicality, what did they find? It was أروع عقد منظوم وأعذب قطعة فنية موسيقية. Right? And then he poses a rhetorical question here. وهل يشك أحد في فخامة نظمه وحلاوة موسيقاه وعذوبة جرسه وحسن اختيار ألفاظه وجمال وقع آياته? So it's like who can doubt this stuff? I mean, you don't even need to be an expert to know this stuff. You just have to read the Quran and you notice, oh wow, that was rhyming. That was so beautiful. Like most of the time when you're in Salah and the Imam is reciting Surah Al-Rahman, all of us are like, oh, فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. We feel like you don't, even non-Muslims who've never had the Quran, you can understand when somebody hears the Quran for the first time, they know that this is special. They know that this is something different, right? And they love the musicality of it, and they find it very calming and relaxing. I'll tell you a story. One day, one of my shuyukh, he told us this story, that one day he was traveling and he was sat next to this a lady who like was scared of flying, and it was, I think, her first time flying. And she was really shaking and quivering, and they had not taken off, but she was just sweating, and she was really having a difficult time. And so my sheikh, he pulled out his phone, and he was listening to the Quran actually. So he just gave her the earphones and was like, listen to this, I think it's going to calm you down. And the lady just plugged in the earphones and started listening. And subhanAllah, it calmed her down. It relaxed her. And then when the plane was on the air, she was completely calm. And then, she asked, what is this? It's so beautiful. It's so calming. It relaxed me. What is it? And of course, it was the Quran. And that is power of the musicality of the recitation of the rhyme in the Quran. It's a very powerful thing that we don't really pay much attention to it. So that's basically what is being said. I hope that is clear. Aside from the big words that have been mentioned, that's just the gist of it. Don't let these big words scare you. Again, remember the style of how Dr. Fadil is speaking in this book. He's being he wants to impress on us. So his language is also very moving, very passionate, very exaggerated, very emotional, if you will. All right. Questions? Are we good so far? Okay, great. So let's break it down. Let's see what's happening bit by bit. Durisa, we've done Durisa now several times. It's مبني للمجهول, all right? And the نائب الفاعل is the inside pronoun هو inside Durisa. And it's referring to this Durisa which came before and which is going back to this Durisa. And the نائب الفاعل inside that Durisa was التعبير القرآني. So we are talking about التعبير القرآني, the way the Quran expresses itself. Or you can even say just the way the Quran speaks, right? So that's what we are talking about. Durisa min haythu, we did min haythu before. Yeah, so just this part, you can see how that jar majroor muta'alliq fragment. So we have min, harf jar, haythu, isim majroor, haythu is again a special mudaf. So this is going to be mudaf. And then nazmihi, mudaf ilay. Then you have waw, harf ataf. And then this musiqahu is connected to the nazmihi. So this whole part becomes our jar majroor. Okay. Durisa min haythu nazmihi wa musiqah. Then you have this fa, and we talked about this fa again. It's the same as the one above. فكان, so fa harf ataf, which is joining this sentence that comes after to the previous sentence. What did they find? فكان مؤروعة. And then we talked about kana here. This kana is فعل ناقص, and it acts as a jumla اسمية. So therefore, this kana would be our mubtada, and the pronoun inside it is the isim kana, and together they form the mubtada. And then whatever comes after it is going to be our khabar في محل رفع. So that whole sentence, well, no, oh, no, what did I do? No, sorry. فكان أروع. So this is our khabar, and it's light, no al, because it's our mudaf, all right? And then عقد is our mudaf إليه. All right, so أروع عقد. And then مندوم is a sifa to عقد. عقد مندوم. What does mandum mean? Organized, orderly, systematic. So this عقد, this kind of tapestry, is well organized, is orderly, is systematic. That's what he's saying. And it is arwa. It is beautiful, pleasant. Yeah. All right. Magnificent. Oh, that's arwa. Yeah, we've been translating arwa as magnificent. Okay. And then you have waw harf ataf, connecting this arwa'a, this isim tafdil arwa'a, with this isim tafdil a'daba. Okay. A'daba arwa'a. And that's why both of them are mansub. They have fatha on it. وأعذب قطعة فنية موسيقية. أعذب is a مضاف, قطعة is a مضاف إليه, and then we have فنية, صفة number 1, موسيقية, صفة number 2 of قطعة. So قطعة فنية موسيقية, a piece of musical art, an artistic musical piece, you can say. And it was the most pleasant. And again, because why are we translating as most? Because this isim tafdil is coming as a mudaf ilay, and because it's coming as a mudaf ilay, it's coming as a mudaf ilay, so it's, what am I saying? It's going to be afdalu tafdil, superlative. Yes, thank you. Superlative. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So far, are we good? Is it clear? Up to there? So this is our khabar, أروع عقد, all the way to mandumin. That's our khabar. And then we have واو حرف عطف, and this whole part is معطوف to that khabar. Good? All right. So as you can see, the structure is not so difficult. It's just that it has very rich vocabulary. The words are really fancy and big, and but the grammar of it is not so difficult. وهل we know هل is حرف الاستفهام, so there's no إعراب there, لا محل لها من الإعراب because it's a حرف. يشك شك يشك, to doubt. شك يشك. And this, of course, is مضاعف. The kind of irregularity that is happening there is مضاعف. And it's مضارع, هو يشك. And because it's the هو version, we can look outside for an outside doer. So this is a فعل and a فاعل. أحد would be the فاعل, the outside doer, and that's why we read it as أحد. Anyone doubts is, and is anyone doubting, or does anyone doubt, right? Does anyone doubt? Doubt what? في فخامة نظمه. So of course في فخامة نظمه would be our متعلق بالفعل to يشك. So متعلق بيشك. So as you can see, فعل فاعل متعلق, straightforward. Then you have واو حرف عطف, and whatever comes after it is معطوف to this فخامة نظمه, حلاوة. So في فخامة نظمه, في حلاوة موسيقاه, في عذوبة جرسه, في حسن اختيار ألفاظه, في جمال وقع آياته. So all this part is connected to this part, and this part, and this part, and this part. So all those parts are connected because by the harf waw, and that's why they're all majroor like that. And of course, again, they're just idafas. They're a bunch of idafas. حلاوة موسيقى هو. So we have حلاوة is مضاف, موسيقى is مضاف إليه, موسيقى مضاف, هو مضاف إليه. عذوبة مضاف, جرس مضاف إليه, جرس مضاف, هو مضاف إليه. وحسني مضاف, اختياري مضاف إليه, اختياري مضاف, الفاظي مضاف إليه, الفاظ مضاف, هو or he مضاف إليه. Right? جمال again مضاف, وقعي مضاف إليه, وقعي مضاف, آياتي مضاف إليه, آياتي مضاف, he مضاف إليه. Just a bunch of إضافات. Nothing special happening here. Right? So, yeah. And all of them are masters, like we said. That's why, because they're all isms. So all of them are masters. That's what's happening there. Question? Fantastic. All right. So let's go to the next part. See what we can be able to do, how much we can be able to do. Is there anybody else wants to read, or do we continue?
I can continue.
Okay. Go on.
بسم الله. ودرس تناسب صوره صورة
صوره.
صوره أوكي صوره صورة والتناسب آياته آية والتناسب خواته صور again صوري right
Yes. الصور. Yes. فواتح الصور. Yes.
وخواتمها فكان قطعة فنية واحدة. أوكي it's خبر.
Mm.
أوكي. محكمة
محكمة.
ربط. أوكي محكمة ربط.
Mm-hmm.
فخمة النسج.
Mm-hmm.
Should I read? Okay. I read it again. فكان قطعة فنية واحدة محكمة ربط فخمة نسج. فكان كما قال فخر الرازي إن القرآن كالصورة الواحدة لا تسقط بعضه ببعض.
لاتصال.
لساني أوكي أوكي أوكي. بل هو كالآيات الواحدة. Okay, meeting na like single surah meet some of other.
كالآية الواحدة. All right. Okay. So let's read this again. ودرس تناسب صوره صورة صورة وتناسب آياته آية آية وتناسب فواتح السور وخواتمها فكان قطعة فنية واحدة محكمة الربط فخمة النسج وكان كما قال الفخر الرازي إن القرآن كالسورة الواحدة لاتصال بعضه ببعض بل هو كالآية الواحدة. All right. So here what he's saying is that, so remember, he's giving us different aspects from which the Quran was studied, from which the ta'bir al-Qur'ani, the expression of the Quran was studied. So he started and told us that it was studied with respect to its artistic imagery, and then how it sounds. So how it paints the picture, and then how it sounds. And now he's telling us that it was also the relationship, the interrelation between a surah and a surah was studied. And the interrelation or the correlation between an ayah and an ayah was also studied. And also the interrelation or the correlation between the beginning of a surah and the end of a surah. And what did they find? فكان قطعة فنية واحدة. And they found it to be a unistic, a single unit, like a single artistic unit. Like everything, they picked this surah, the beginning and the end, single artistic unit. This surah and the next surah, single artistic unit. Like this relationship, ayah and an ayah, there's a relationship. It's a single artistic unit. محكمة الربط. محكمة means like something that is woven, like something that is tightly linked, if you will. So محكمة الربط, tightly interwoven, or how do I say this? Yeah, tightly interwoven. I don't see any other way of saying it. Tightly interwoven. Tightly interwoven. محكمة الربط فخمة النسج. Again, النسج from نسج, to weave, right? And نسج is a fabric. So magnificent fabric, like everything, when it was studied together, you compare this ayah and that ayah and you see correlations. You see so much relationship. It's like one big thing. It's interwoven, it's interlinked. It's like a fabric. That's what he's saying. A single work of art, right? One piece, tightly woven. Yes, tightly woven. That's exactly it. محكمة الربط فخمة النسج وكان كما قال الفخر الرازي, and it is exactly like فخر الرازي said. So he's quoting فخر الرازي in his book. إن القرآن, this is what الفخر الرازي said. So this, you can say this is مقول القول, and we'll get into the whole grammar analysis in a bit. إن القرآن كالسورة الواحدة. The Quran, indeed the Quran is like a single surah. لاتصال بعضه ببعض, because of its connection with one another. How it connects with one another is the reason why it's one single surah. Like you read it and it feels like it just flows and continues. So some people don't see this, they don't appreciate this, because they are used to reading books with chapters, and they're used to seeing certain flows. But the Quran is different. The Quran is like one giant surah because of how it connects with each other, right? بل هو كالآية الواحدة. Forget even a surah. It's in fact, it's like a single ayah, like one giant ayah, continuous ayah, one continuous sign. And we know that ayah just doesn't mean verse or in the true meaning of the word ayah, it has several meanings. Ustad has probably talked about this so many times, but one of the most common meaning is a sign, something that points you to a particular direction, a warning even, yeah, a sign. So it's one giant sign that is interconnected, interwoven, interrelated. Exactly. We read about this interconnection in Ash-Sha'rawi as well. And I'm sure you would read this interconnection everywhere because it is so apparent, it's so obvious. And so many studies, like Dr. Fadil has mentioned, so many studies have been done as far as this topic is concerned. So that's the gist of what he is saying into that. We good? Clear? All right. Do we break it down? All right. So let's go into the details and see what's being said, or let's break it down in terms of grammar. Durisa, we've done Durisa. I'm not going to do it again. We've done like 3 times already now. Tanasubu, of course, now this is the naibul fa'il because this is the rafa, and when we have a huwa pronoun, we can look outside for a naibul fa'il. So tanasubu is our naibul fa'il, and it is light no al, and it is therefore أو مضاف. So نائب الفاعل وهو مضاف. صوره, this is the plural of surah. Suratan, suratan, suratan. And then you combine, it becomes suwar. So this is the plural. So the interconnection of the surahs, the plural, it's surahs were studied. Okay. So this is our naibul fa'il in a sense, the way it's connected. And then you have suratan, suratan. Now, there are 2 things here I need to remind you guys. When we were doing tawkid at some point, we said that when you have a word that is repeated, it could be tawkid al-lafdi, like a tawkid. Like if I said, ja'a huwa, he came. Or if I say, la ta'kul, no, don't eat. If I repeat the word like that, then that's indication of tawkid. Yeah. Or if I repeat a pronoun, for example, idhab anta, you go. Like if you keep repeating, it's a form of tawkid. But we made a disclaimer, and I'm just reminding you guys because maybe we have forgotten about this. I made a disclaimer that sometimes you can see this kind of repetition and it's not emphasis being intended. It's not a tawkid being intended. It's a hal being intended. In other words, how was it done? Page by page. صفحة صفحة. رويدا رويدا. Slowly, slowly. What else do we have? We have suratan suratan. Surah by surah. Right? قطعة قطعة. Portion by portion. Like if I use words like that, I am trying to explain to you how something was done. And I'm not trying to explain to you, let me just go to where tawkid is. I'm not trying to explain, I'm not adding emphasis. I'm telling you how I did it. For example, here, ذاكرت الدرس ورقة ورقة. Paper by paper, leaf by leaf, page by page. وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا. How did Allah arrive? How is Allah going to arrive on the day of judgment with the angels? Row by row, or rows upon rows, or row in row. So that's just kind of like revision of that. So here it's not tawkid as such, but it is hal. Yes, hal, the sahibul hal of the, no, the huwa. Yes, the tanasub. Yeah, the tanasubu. Suwarihi. Yeah, the interrelation. Yeah. So how was the interrelation studied? Surah by surah. Yes. And again, it repeats and says, وَتَنَاسُبُ آيَاتِهِ آيَةً آيَةً. The interrelation between its ayat, ayah by ayah. Right? So again, this تناسب is عطف to that تناسب, and then آياته would be the مجرور, because now here تناسب is مضاف, and then آياته مضاف إليه. Then we have آية. This is our حال, describing how it was done. وتناسب, again the same structure is just repeating. تناسب فواتح الصور, again فواتح like مساجد, like فواعل pattern. This فواعل pattern is supposed to be ممنوع من الصرف. It's supposed to be فواتح, فواتح, فواتح. But the reason we're putting a kasra on it is because it's a mudaf. We know there are two exceptions. When these words that are partly flexible, when they come as a mudaf, or when they have al on them, then they take on a kasra. So that's why this word takes on a kasra. Otherwise, it would be فواتح. وتناسب فواتح السور وخواتمها. Same thing is happening. تناسب is light, no al, these are mudaf. فواتح is a mudaf ilay, but it's also a mudaf. And that's why it's taking a kasra. It's not taking a kasra because it's a mudaf ilay. It's taking a kasra because it's a mudaf. That's something important to remember. So it's also a mudaf. And then a suwari is a mudaf ilay. And now this وخواتمها is connected to فواتح. So فواتح السور وخواتمها. It's important to note this wow is going back to فواتح. It's not going back to تناسب. It's going back to فواتح. So the beginning and the end were compared. It's not the relation between the beginning and, you know, وخواتمها. No. So this portion, you can look at it like this. That's like one sort of like bucket, if you will. Right? So the beginning and the end. فكان, we've seen this structure before. فكان. How was it? It was قطعة فنية واحدة. So this is khabar. So this is كان, this is khabar. And you can see this is Sifah 1, Sifah 2 of that khabar. قطعة فنية واحدة. Okay? A single artistic unit, or a single artistic piece, if you will. Then you have محكمة الربط. What is this? محكمة الربط is a مضاف إليه, but it's an إضافة. What is it doing in terms of sentence? You can see now this one is acting as another صفة. صفة number 3 of قطعة. فخمة النسج, again another إضافة, another صفة. صفة number 4. So he's just piling sifas upon sifa. It's like he's describing, you know, like when you're describing something that you're really passionate about, and you just use all these different words and synonyms and things like that, just to make an elaborate picture, fancy, you know, picture. That's what he's doing. So قطعة فنية واحدة محكمة الربط فخمة النسج. And we know that إضافة, when it comes as a sifa, it can take on both proper mawsuf, or it can take just a common mawsuf. And here we have a common mawsuf, right? Okay. وكان, and it was, وكان, the isim of kana is the inside pronoun huwa, because when we look ahead, we don't see anything rafa. So kana and its isim, this becomes a mubtada. And then whatever comes after it is going to be a khabar في محل رفع, في محل نسب, khabar of kana, right? So this is going to be a khabar, the whole thing. Kana, this whole thing, right? كما, ka, we know is ka is حرف التشبيه, is also حرف يعني حرف جار. So this ka, and we said whenever you see this ka and ma, we're going to look at it as what? We're going to look at it as ma مصدرية. This ma is going to be our ma مصدرية. So ma قال كقولي. It's like saying كقولي الفخر الرازي. Right? So this is going to be a jar majroor, حرف جار, our اسم مجرور, and this is our ma مصدرية, and together they form مصدر مؤول. So you can see this is part of, this is still connected. And then قال is a فعل, الفخر الرازي is the outside doer, so that continues. So this is our فاعل. فخر الرازي is the فاعل of قال. And then you have the مقول القول. So again, you can see this whole entire statement is في محل نسب مفعول به of قال. So that's how that whole bucket connects. All right. Then you enter inside the مقول القول, قول, this whole sentence here, and you have إن القرآن. So this is a مبتدا. إن and its اسم مبتدا. كالسورة الواحدة جار مجرور متعلق. So we can say this كالسورة الواحدة. And again, الواحدة is the صفة to السورة. You can see it matches 4 properties. So that's connected. إن القرآن كالسورة الواحدة متعلق بالخبر. And then لاتصال ببعضه لاتصال بعضه ببعض. لي حرف جار. That's why it's اتصالي. اتصال is a مصدر. So اتصل يتصل اتصال. So we're talking about connectivity, connection. All right. Because, and this lam is lam التعليل, lam of because of its connection with each other. This we normally just translate, this kind of fragment, we normally translate as each other. بعضه ببعض. It literally means some of it with some of it. But who speaks like that? Some of it with other parts of it, like, no. With each other, okay? Or with one another. ببعضه ببعض. So lam, we said lam is حرف جار. So that makes this متعلق fragment. اتصالي بعضه ببعض. So this is متعلق بعضه. Again, اتصالي بعضه. Wait, is it بعضه or بعده? Yeah. Yeah. So اتصال. So we can look at this مضاف مضاف إليه that way. Yeah, let's look at it as إضافة. So اتصال, so this is a مضاف مضاف إليه, again إضافة, long chain إضافة, and that's how they're connected, and this whole thing is another متعلق بالخبر, number 2. All right. بل, we've talked about بل before. بل is حرف الإضراب or حرف للإضراب. What does إضراب mean? إضراب is a very simple concept. Don't let these big words, like scare you. Just imagine إضراب, basically, when it comes in a sentence, it means that whatever came before it means it's wrong. Whatever comes after it is right. That's what بل does. It negates what came before, affirms what comes after. We normally translate it in English as rather. So Fakhr al-Razi presented a point of view that, you know what, the Quran is like one giant surah. And then he cancels that statement by saying, no, actually, forget that. It's like a single ayah. This is what I want you to remember. It's like a single ayah. Forget that it's like a surah. No, rather, it's like a single ayah. So that's what bal does. It's a حرف لا محل لها من الإعراب. هو, that's a مبتدأ. كالآية الواحدة, again كحرف جار. الآية مجرور. الواحدة صفة to الآية. And that is our متعلق بالخبر. Questions? Are we good?
I have a question.
Yes.
In the first line, suratan, when we read maf'ul mutlaq, wasn't there one that repeats also? So I know it may not apply here, but I think that's when we read it in Bayyana at least. When it is the same root or similar meaning, and the third was or a number, or if it repeats. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think I remember something like that also, but let's see. Not so 100% sure. مصدر مفعول له. Where am I? مفعول مطلق, emphasis. رجا. Yeah, so the one that adds emphasis is when the masdar itself is repeated. So رجت الأرض رجا. And then you can add to it a description. So إن فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. So فتحا would be the masdar, which would be a مفعول مطلق. And then مبينا is like a description of the فتحا, describing what kind of a fath would it be. So these categories basically explain how you translate. Because if it's just repeated like this, then it's add emphasis. We don't really need to translate it. We don't say when the earth shakes are shaking. We don't translate like that. When the earth shakes violently, that's probably how we're going to translate it, because we're just adding emphasis. But then when it's مبين للنوع, when it is describing the kind of action that is happening, then sorry, this is describing the kind of action. This one is describing the type of action. So إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. We have opened for you a clear opening. So it's describing the kind of opening, right? What kind of a victory? Of course, I'm translating it very literally here, but when it comes with in this form, then it means we have given you victory. We have given you a clear victory. What kind of a victory? A clear victory. So it's describing the kind, the type of action, right? And here, the last one. Go on.
And for a مفعول مطلق, it has to be a masdar, right?
Yes, it has
Like
to be a masdar.
most.
Yeah, it has to be a
And
masdar.
Surah 10 is a masdar?
Yeah, it's an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can see the concept. So for that to happen, it would be إذا رجت الأرض رجا رجا. So you see that is what we are talking about when we're saying surah and surah, or ayatan, or whatever form of that repetition. That's what we're talking about. But when it comes to maf'ul mutlaq, you can see it's not that repetition. The word itself does not repeat. So that probably would be the difference.
Okay.
Whereas in hal, the word itself repeats, describing how something happens. Slowly, quickly. Sur'atan, sur'a. You can use any word basically and make it this hal, this kind of hal, just to describe how something is happening.
In the third line, إن القرآن كالسورة واحدة لاتصال بعضه is إضافة, لبعضه is another إضافة, or
Yes.
it's a متعلق ببعضه.
No.
So how it could be connected with the بعضه?
This ba is harf jar, so this is متعلق to بعضه, this part. بعضه ببعض. So this ببعض is متعلق to بعضه.
All right.
Yeah. Good observation there. Any other questions, clarifications? And by the way, this just
Sorry, I interrupted.
no problem. I welcome it. That's fine.
Okay. So this is just a case, where with a masdar you can attach a file or you can attach a maf'ul. So here we see a maf'ul being attached to a masdar as an idafa. This is that case, right?
If it was a maf'ul, it would be اتصال بعضه. So that's why I was a bit, like I was trying to think.
No. You can attach a maf'ul as an idafa to a masdar, right? So it will be like in the mudaf ilayh status, and it will be majrur. But in actuality, it's the maf'ul. Like,
Yes.
we can attach
Yes.
with a masdar, a file, and a maf'ul both as a mudaf ilayh, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. It normally when the masdar has al on it, then whatever comes after is going to be maf'ul bihi mansub. Like it's going to be like if this was للاتصال.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
If there
is
was an al there, then it would be بعضه.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I think that was also discussed in EMSA. I don't remember because I really didn't finish EMSA, but I think there was something like that in EMSA as well.
Yeah, I think in EMSA it says if there's a masdar without an al, then it's a mudaf. So whatever follows is a mudaf ilay, and if there is al on it, then whatever follows is connected to it as a maf'ul.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
what the other sister said.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. That's how you look at it. It's the same thing. Yeah. Any other questions or clarifications?
All clear, alhamdulillah.
Fantastic. Alhamdulillah. I mean, it's just the words that are, the vocabulary is difficult in this section. Or maybe it's just big words. But as you can see, the grammar, once you break it down, it's not that bad. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I don't want to go into this. This next section is quite big. And I think we can save it for next time. And again, the grammar is not going to be so difficult because we're going to see a lot of repetition happening. It's just that maybe probably the words that we might have to struggle a bit with. But the grammar, pretty straightforward. And then we'll remain with 2 pages to finish this chapter. Alhamdulillah, not bad. And maybe next week we can do a reading of what we've done so far. And then we can get into the section, inshallah. Oh, somebody was asking. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, ببعض, yes. Yes, to tanween, yes. Yeah. Oh, I put 1. Yeah, بعض. You're right. All right. We can stop there. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sister Ilham, you can stop
Yes.
the record. But
Okay.
I have a couple of questions from the last session.